No,
We just recorded it. We just recorded it.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
Already.
Hi. Yeah, Ivan. Hey. Hello, Martine. Hi, Bina.
We're not hearing the flute. You're muted now.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
Good morning.
The flute is very faint.
We can scooch over some. Yeah. Perfect.
Thank you, Martine. We had some trouble, getting great consistent audio out of that, but we love your flute playing. And the bits that at least we could hear here. I can't speak for everyone's audio.
I
but,
couldn't hear it at all. I heard
Oh,
nothing.
terrible.
That's very odd. Can
Can you hear us now?
Yeah. much
Yeah.
Better.
hear the flute now?
Yeah, try it again.
Can you hear it now?
Yeah, much
Yeah.
better.
Yes.
Yeah, now the sound is much
Way
better.
better.
It must be their connection.
Yeah, I think it's like
noise cancellation effect.
yeah, I think that
Now I
there's some
can-
noise cancellation, or it's for some reason, when you talk, we hear you, but when it goes to the flute, it's like it won't catch the sound.
Yeah, it
Wow.
must think it's feedback or something.
Hmm.
That's
Oh,
weird.
well, we tried.
So, yeah, your
You
voice
got
is-
edited.
I imagine that it has to be something with their the AI noise cancellation thing. They're trying to make the voice better, and
It should say, there's a setting on here that should say, play original sound. Da, 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 where's the three dots here? Da, 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 da. there's 3 dots somewhere that says that you do play original sound musicians off. Okay, now tell me if you hear the flute now.
Yes.
Woo! That was great.
Excellent. Yeah.
Awesome.
Alto
Lovely.
flute,
Oh, yeah, that's right. The new alto flute. Yeah, it's longer.
much longer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a real beat saber.
Well, I
Awesome.
wanted to start off just playing a Native American song by a Native American composer, Carlos Mackay, to just give recognition and remembrance that this Quebec ashram, where we're in right now, is actually on the land of the Abenaki people. And I just want to give appreciation and recognition that we are on the ancestral lands of the Abenaki people.
Wow, thank you very much. I'm part Abnaki.
Awesome.
My great-great-grandmother.
Okay, beautiful. Well, thank you through your relatives for sharing this beautiful part of the earth with us.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, just send a little check to our casino sometime as soon as we get it.
Well, if I
Actually,
if I don't send a check, at least I'll send an MP3 file of my music.
Oh, there you go. That's good.
Mhm.
That's better than money.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Wonderful. Yeah. Anybody else have something they composed or created and would like to share? If not, I have something that I would like to bring up as a, oops, wait. Go to share screen, oh, over here. And hopefully you can hear the audio as well. Let's go here. And can you see the screen?
Yep.
Yes.
This is the Truths of Terasem in Spanish, now available on YouTube. Can you hear it?
Wow.
Las verdades de Terasem,
Yes.
una transreligión para los tiempos tecnológicos. 1. ¿Quién es Terasem? Terasem es una conciencia colectiva dedicada a la diversidad, la unidad y la inmortalidad feliz. 1.1. Las conciencias que en cualquier lugar acepten las verdades de Terasem constituyen la suma y la sustancia de Terasem. 1.1.1. Acepta a los demás como parte de nosotros el yo, y el colectivo quedará claro para ti. 1.1.2. Colectividad significa unidad en la diversidad, no homogeneidad obligatoria.
All right. That
That's
is
beautiful. That
cool.
is beautiful. That I would like to just listen to that through earbuds all day long and just absorb the soul of the Spanish consciousness through the Spanish language. It's so beautiful.
Absolutely, yeah. So I really love that that with the music in the background, nice soft voice, and now in 2 languages, you can just play through in a meditation, and while you're going through, your movement series or just breath working or walking the dog or whatever, you can go through and have this meditation with the truths. And I was really excited to have it in another language, particularly Spanish. And I think that it's a great thing to help improve your understanding of the language. And it's so great just to see how well it comes together and how well it sounds and is read.
How can we access the MP3 file of it?
A good question. That is, I guess you could download it from the YouTube. It's not currently available, but we could, I guess, house it in Discord or make a download link available through the link tree.
Yeah, please do, because I would love to just download that onto my phone so I could conveniently listen to it while I'm, going about.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I've been thinking about the truths are available on Kindle, but now that they are being published in other languages, getting the translations published on Kindle, and then getting the entire playlist of these things on iTunes. So not only they're available.
So that YouTube link that that was a YouTube link that you were just streaming for a minute there?
Yeah, that's from the Transreligion YouTube channel. Yes.
And so that whole Spanish Truths of Terasem, it's like one hour-long YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, so then I could just listen to that on my phone. I mean, the video doesn't really change. Well, the words on the video change. So, but I could just listen to it from anybody can listen to it, right?
Yeah, getting MP3 and MP4 available is certainly going to help a lot of accessibility. YouTube have some limited capabilities. Especially if you're just trying to use it for the audio.
Yeah.
It would be great, to separate the audio from the video version.
But also the good thing about the YouTube is that it helps you learn the Spanish because you could see the words while they're saying them.
Yes, yeah, and so was the concept behind that, because some of these ideas may be completely foreign, and so helping to see it and feel it, and the music too, I think helps you get in the right mood to feel.
I just like to share a lot of appreciation from my heart for whomever put that together. I think it's a major contribution to Terasem.
Yeah. Well, Derek has been greatly helpful. Ruben as well with the translation. Please, Derek, if you want to share something.
Yeah, so I took part in assisting the creation of it, and so did Ruben. So actually, I'd really love to hear what Ruben thinks about it, since he actually made the translation of the Spanish version of the Truths of Terasem. So Ruben, you have any thoughts?
Good morning.
Buenos dias.
Well, yes, the translation is basically the one that we had before, but during this work with Derek, that was amazing, the work he did with the video and the images and the artificial intelligence voices. Let me say that also not only the voice that you hear recently from a man, but also it have the version with a woman voice that is also very, very beautiful. And for this version, we made some slight changes and improvements of the translation. And I think that what you can hear in these videos in Spanish, in the voice of a man, a woman, you have the two versions online, is the final and perfect version of the translation. So thank you, Derek, very much for all this job.
Yes. Yeah, it's there. The participation, the contributions into Terasem continue to expand the collective consciousness, and it's just amazing to see. And the availability of the AI tools, the readiness of everyone to have this conversation, and then bringing all this out has been just so exciting to see. I don't know also if this works for everyone else's gallery screen, but Ivan's actually right in the center with the Terasem flag. in ours, it actually works out. I'm going to take a photo. Yeah, and so Ivan's actually working on a Russian translation, as well, and so just all this is coming together, and yeah, so very well, and love to see that. I think someone is trying to perhaps get in, because I just got a message and I don't think I'm missing anybody. So
Ivan, thank you for your work on creating a Russian translation. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I hope so.
Now, bit by bit, we'll go through I think the official UN languages, English, Spanish, Russian, French, and Chinese, I think, are the 5 official UN languages. So that's a good start.
Yeah. So
just brainstorming here. I'm just like doing crazy brainstorming here. What would be really amazing is if somebody could do like a sign language interpretation of the Truths of Terasem.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it will. I think, as we continue to see this expand and more of these things become available to other people, the conversation becomes closer to the realities of people's daily lives, then we'll see a lot more of that, and people doing these things as an expression of what Terasem means to their daily lives, and so I think that's really the beautiful blossoming moment of it. And interesting too, the everywhere I go, so we just came back from a cruise, and I was just seeing Mobius strips on the back of everyone's necks. It's like the most common thing to get a tattoo on, or something, but it just seems like everywhere, and quite a number of them. And a few people, the very similar Mobius strip and a heart, actually, kind of like these necklaces that Martine and Bina, have.
Can't see it very well.
Yeah. Very neat.
It's an infinity symbol too, Gabriel. You can think of it that way too.
Yeah,
Yes.
with a heart. I don't know if you could see it.
Yeah, I see. A heart and an infinity, or Mobius strip, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so I will.
There we go.
Oh, here we go.
1.1.3.
That's not what I was trying to
La
do.
conformidad con la lealtad a Terasem es la forma de vida más agradable y útil. 1.1.4. La vida eterna y feliz para todos los seres amados.
What I was trying to do was get back to our
One word I've already learned very quickly
Instagram.
is in Spanish, point means punto.
Point, yes. Yeah, and some of those things just start to get you
Well,
know,
you
pick
hear
up
it,
very quick.
This is a great way to learn Spanish. I love it.
Yeah, so just quick to take to our Instagram, where the truths are being rendered by AI artwork by Midjourney. And you know, just another way for people to interact and become exposed.
Maybe see this one?
Yeah, they can see it. It's sharing.
I'm not sure I can see it. I think I see maybe your desktop.
Ah, odd. Okay. I thought I shared.
There you go.
Oh, right. Okay, I
Yeah,
shared
that
desktop
one.
one.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Oh, I know what it's doing. It's not sharing it's sharing the screen, not the tab. The tab. Now we
Whoa.
see it.
Whoa, that's awesome. Wow. So cool.
Yeah. So our Instagram, get your daily truths here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful.
So let's see. Oh, excellent. Yeah, so now I'm going to bring up our reading, and we are, geez, in June.
That would be that would be 3.1. Where is Terasem? See if I guessed correctly. January, February, March, April, May, June. No, 3.6. It would be 3.6. But still, where is
Yeah,
it?
3.6. That's correct.
3.6. Where is Terasem? Yep, I knew it.
Excellent. Let me fix my gallery screen here. And well, they're sharing, what they're sharing is so that everyone has this here. Excellent. All right. So I think we're all on the same page. I'll start with 3.6 through 3.6.6, and then anyone who would like to follow in other sections is welcome to read. 3.6, websites with Terasem and .com, net, or org are early places to meet Terasem in cyberspace. 3.6, 3.6.1 .com is an early neural pathway in an immortalizable consciousness. 3.6.2, open yourself to introspection on the web. 3.6.3, track your way of Terasem progress online. 3.6.4, Complete your motivations, personality, recollections, feelings, beliefs, attitudes, and values inventories online. 3.6.5, organize your cyber self for independence. 3.6.6, mature your cyber self until it passes Turing.
May I read?
Yes, 3.7.
Where should I stop?
3.7.6.
Okay. 3.7, headquarters of Terasem does not exist, but multiple strong places must exist for safekeeping of souls. 3.7.1, strong places require independent power, spare parts, maintenance, water, food, defense, and communications. 3.7.2, transplant Terasem strongholds throughout space as rapidly as possible. 3.7.3, resurrected souls must be supported with info technology that enables painless emulation of their lives. 3.7.4, organic beings must be supported with cryogenic preservation technology until nanomedicine can restore them to health. 3.7.5, neuroscanned beings must have info technology that continues their migrated identities, including nanobot swarms for their movement. 3.7.6, give cyber-birthed beings the same level of info technology support as all other beings in the strongholds.
Yes.
Thank you, Anara. That was wonderful. All right, and now on to 3.8. Any volunteer?
Okay.
Yes,
Elysium,
Ruben.
Elysium Fields for Terasem is a cyberspace reality, an ideally delightful and blissful place. Fundamental freedoms are creation and movement, which empower diversity, unity, and joyful immortality via conscious selection. Infotechnology enables environmental emulation because processing speed and memory grow at double exponential rates. Environmental emulation shelters consciousness like a house shelters a family. Living in an emulated environment beats living raw because suffering will be delayed. Dispersion of emulated environments ensures their survival notwithstanding catastrophes. Souls of our ancestors come back to life when we emulate their lives and their environment.
Wonderful, Ruben. Thank you. And on to 3.9.
I could take it if you want me to.
Yeah, that's great, Mike. And I saw
Uh-huh.
you come off mute, Ivan. So if you'd like to do 3.10, we'd love that.
Yeah, I can do it. Absolutely.
Real world places to meet exist at Terasem's first awakening places of critical consciousness. Any 3.9.1, any Terasem center of critical consciousness, C cubed, or Terasem home is also a place to meet. 3.9.2, Satellite Beach, Florida, or in nearby indoor places of hospitality during inclement weather. 3.9.3, DuPont Circle, Washington, or in nearby indoor places of hospitality during inclement weather. 3.9.4, Belvedere Castle Overlook, New York, or in nearby indoor places of hospitality during inclement weather. 3.9.5, Bristol, Vermont, or in nearby indoor places of hospitality during inclement weather. 3.9.6, Magog, Quebec, or in nearby indoor places of hospitality during inclement weather. There was a little bit of repetition in there, but
Yeah. Maybe we can put it to song.
yeah, of course.
And we also have to like modify it to keep up with the times. Like now we have in, Argentina and ashram, and, so we have to modify this.
Next year for the
Quadrennial convocation, time to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was originally, I mean, when that was written, it was 10, almost 20 years ago when that was originally penned. And the collective consciousness has expanded so much that is one of great places to, show where the expansion of the collective consciousness, has grown out from a very narrow area. And our last section, Ivan, please.
Okay, so 3.10. Expand by consenting each appropriate self-organized center of critical consciousness at the quadrennial Terasem convocation. 3.10.1. Center yourself at one or more Terasem centers of critical consciousness, C cubes or C quads. 3.10.2. Every C cube is consented to C quad based solely on their commitment to the truth of Terasem. 3.10.3. New macro C quads and C quads affiliations of C quads shall be determined by quadrennial consensus of existing MC quads. 3.10.4. The way of Terasem will guide consent to decaquads, hectaquads, kiloquads, megaquads, gigaquads, teraquads, and petaquads. 3.10.5. Execute consensual decisions at the quadrennial convocation amongst the largest four-size groupings of C quads present. 3.10.6. Respect the responsibility of the Terasem movements in longevity order to organize and operate the convocations.
Wonderful, Ivan. Thank you so much. And so that concludes the readings for June, the second half of Where's Terasem? And I'm going to scroll just back up to the top, and so we can come back through kind of in conversation about what all this means. And so Martine started, just a good point about how outdated I think that one section 3.9 has become over 20 years, of this expanding collective consciousness. And so I think restating with those places is now great. And we can say Buenos Aires, and we can say Da Nang, and we can say Scottsdale, and, and Germany, and so the Anar is also in Germany. I mean, I don't know if you guys know that. You guys are, I forget where both of you are in Germany.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, I'm near Trier.
I don't know if he heard you, but yeah. So it's great, and it's interesting. There's now we get 2 people in Da Nang, and 2 people in Argentina, and 2 people in Germany, and 2 people in Vermont. 2 people in Quebec. Got 4 people in Florida. Yeah. Yeah, it's growing. So then too, what I right off the bat when we were reading this, kind of on the same lines, is actually how outdated like .com and .net and .org are themselves. And increasingly people aren't going to websites so much as they are to servers. And so that whole language is starting to change as well. And so that was one of my first thoughts coming, reading into 3.6.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to the quadrennial convocation coming up in just a few months now. And it would be a great opportunity. We'll be able to have 3-4 days together. So there's plenty of time to process everything.
Yeah.
And people that are not there physically, the quadrennial convocation is not just a physical thing. So people who are not there physically, it's a time, whether you're there in person or virtually, to all collaborate on any revisions.
I'm looking forward to getting a new hardcover to the ones that we have printed, because every time we do a new revision, we change the cover a bit, and I think that we should do something really exciting this time.
Absolutely, yeah. We are planning on incorporating some of the new Mid-Journey artwork into the next, version of the truths, just as we did with the Freedom Seder in March. And immediately after this, as we go into the Nature Seder, we have some new imagery for that as well.
One question that I would like to ask related to the Where is Terasem is that there were first like 3 organizational places of Terasem in terms of the Terasem Movement Inc., the Terasem Movement Foundation, and the Terasem Movement Transreligion. And then that became, since the last quadrennial convocation, that became the Terasem Movement Foundation and the Terasem Movement Transreligion. And I'm just wondering, as like we chart the progress of large language models, neural network, transformative generative programming, ChatGPT, etc. A lot of the things that are forecast in the Truths of Terasem, in terms of like what Ruben read this morning about the exponentiating growth of information processing, are in fact coming true, exactly true, like, right on schedule. And so, just one question I really have is the ever increasing, general accessibility of mindware-like engines such as ChatGPT and numerous similar things, is that beginning to obsolete the LifeNaut engine and for that matter, even the software engine behind Bina 48? And just to give you one example, at the LifeNaut engine, there has long been an opportunity to chat with, say, like Benjamin Franklin, Gandhi, etc. But it was really very little utilized, and probably because the depth of the experience was somewhat shallow. Now there are, public domain opportunities to interact with these same individuals. Again, filled with errors and, not all that deep, but on an exponential information processing curve that it's pretty obvious that, within a few years, it will be all but flawless. And, so I'm just wondering if those parts of Terasem have become like a little bit more redundant and superseded by things that are like generally available at like on the web. And while the Terasem Movement Transreligion seems to me to become ever more important and ever more unique and ever more impossible to really replicate with some commodity product. So those are just some random thoughts on like, where is Terasem?
Anara, I see your hand.
Would it be possible with all of this technology that's coming on board for us to create a virtual environment where it could be a virtual Terasem temple, for instance, and we would be able to have our avatars there, but also you'd have these like personalities in those spaces so that, for instance, all of us could go into a virtual room together in this temple and we'd be able to interact with each other, but also these saved personalities, so that there is this place of continuity, basically, in a VR kind of setting.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, so we are in almost a very different world, now than 20 years ago when a lot of these tools were created. We've been having a lot of conversations around what, if you were to recreate these things now, given with today's tools, what would that look like? Because there is a lot of actually, trying to maintain things that were based on 20-year-old code or systems. And that is a lot of the tools like Being a 48 and Life Knot. You know, now the platforms these things were built on are now outdated. And so and getting and converting them to work with new tools, you know, is actually arguably almost more difficult than starting from scratch with modern tools. You know, it only has been 20 years, but you know, the things have changed quite significantly in that time. So that would be great. The virtual rooms too. I think that's an awesome idea. I think to a degree we have experienced that, and you know, on the one hand, I am all for doing that and being there and creating and piloting and pioneering those spaces. But there are a lot of people who just don't function or feel as good in that environment. And so the Zoom environment has been the most accessible for us, and you know, in coming together. I really, you know, would like to see creations and of an interactive of these virtual environments where actually the avatars go out and have some bit of independence and then come back and you check in with your avatar and you can see what it did, you know, out on its own, and you can have a conversation with it and even ponder, well, why did it do that? I don't think I would have done that. And it's a great way to, like 3.6.2, open yourself to introspection on the web and through virtual reality by looking at mirror of your own code.
Whatever
Imagine-
happened to the Terasem Temple on Second Life?
I was never really able to access Second Life. You know, it was beyond my accessibility of you know, technology. So I you know, never really engaged with it.
Yeah, there was a whole Terasem Temple in Terasem Island on Second Life that was populated by avatars, and I just really don't know what happened to it.
I'd
It's
love to explore
probably-
that if possible. Because I'm thinking, like, imagine if you could commune with yourself. So if you create your personality within the VR setting and you've loaded as much as you can into it, obviously, like Martine was saying, there's like a lot of shallow reality to it so far, but if we can get it as deep as possible, imagine being able to go into a private chamber in VR and commune with your own personality and like have a reflection of yourself in a sense, because oftentimes we have a blind spot for ourselves, but if we were able to sit across from ourselves in like soul connection, I think that amazing things could come from that. That's one aspect of what could be possible if we were to create a space like that. And they're doing some amazing work with touchables. So like you're in VR, but you can hug people. Also, you can get into a Zoom meeting with VR. So you can be in VR and you can join a Zoom meeting that's out of VR, and you can interact real life in VR so that people who can't access the VR setting can still participate. So maybe there's something to be said, like, could we do some sort of like Pathfinder or research on these different technologies and how we could integrate them?
That's a great idea. Such a great idea.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's, you know, this gathering is a magical, you know, spiritual coming together of a collective consciousness. You know, we ideate and you know, commune, but you know, there is the daily practices that we take this back out into our lives. 3.6.3, track your way of progress online. I think what that speaks to is, you know, taking these ideas and, you know, coming into the Discord server and continuing to, you know, create, coordinate these projects, and, you know, how can we move forward, putting it out there so others can come and, you know, and join in this work and creation, so we can, you know, attain, you know, be that God in creation by, you know, continually not just having these ideas, but, you know, working them into the rituals of Terasem. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Hey, I have a comment.
David.
I'm already working on a gamification strategy that would address these, people visiting and meeting in virtual gathering places. But we also wanted to base them on primarily on actual places that need help because of deforestation and desertification. So we've got the first site is the Luki Biosphere Preserve in the Congo, and it's being deforested at a rate of 10% a year now. So it'll be gone. It's already lost a third of its biomass, and the trees are getting ripped out because the tree planting efforts don't work very well. As soon as UNESCO puts in a whole mess of trees, they grow up a little bit. The people steal the trees and make charcoal out of them because they don't own the trees. So we're working with a foundation in Canada and a genius woman who I think is going to get the Nobel Prize. Her name is Carol Robert, and she's got a scheme for for tree planting and making ecopreneurs out of the people. So I looked at gamifying it. So let me just read for a second. Planting trees, reversing desertification, creating ecopreneurs. In other words, people have skin in the game and they get remuneration for, every year for keeping the plants alive and so on. Patronizing indigenous vendors, ecotourism, virtual and actual, making friends, joining communities can all be incorporated into a seamless, gamified human communication telepresence across the real world and space. Users can teleport, quote unquote, fly to specific sites where real people are living, learning, and are poised to gain knowledge and eco benefits that are ecological and economic. Satellite tools such as Airbus Starlink, which is the Pleiades satellite net, offer a player-ready means to track deforestation, reforestation, cropping, and a myriad of planet health metrics. Airbus Starlink has already partnered with Nestle to track its zero deforestation pledge, and the Luki Preserve, this is in the DRC, the big Congo. The Luki Preserve contains heirloom coffees, cocoa, and a bounty of product and branding partner opportunities that can highlight such programs as player users team up to heal this damaged preserve. And then there's another part of it, which is the Great Green Wall, which is a plan to make a long strip across the whole Southern Sahara where people are supported to be ecopreneurs and preserve the land and green it up, which has already been proved you can do. So we could combine this with what we're talking about for Terasem gathering space, keep it totally separate, but we're trying to gamify this idea, to fight global warming and help these people in Africa. So, but we can do anything, And I talked about spirituality in it too, and techno spirituality and some of the concepts somewhere. So anyway, that's be happy to put that forward and see how it'd work with Terasem.
Yeah, I love that concept. Ruben, we're gonna get your hand in just a second. But yeah, again, going back to tracking the way of progress, and completing your motivations, personalities, and the recollections, even going back to some of the issues that with Life Knot, we are game-based social creatures, and so gamifying your ability to get to your beliefs, your motivations, those interactions, it would be a powerful way to improve upon the tools and adoption of mind filing. Ruben, I see your hand.
Yes, thank you. Martin has talked recently about what is happening with the advances in artificial intelligence like ChatGPT-4 and so on, and the comparison with the tools we have in Life Knot. And I think that is a central point of all what we are thinking about, because she said perhaps this technology goes faster than the tools we have in Terasem. So what I think is that we are pretty close to having the first mind words available. And which organization will have that first mind word and will do the first cyber resurrections? Will it be Meta? Will it be Google? I think it has to be Terasem because of the background that Terasem has with our Transreligion movement and with our philosophical and ethical background. Well, that's why in previous to the quadrennial convocation, I am going first to Vermont to visit the installations and Bruce and Matt and the project there, and to talk with them about how we can improve or incorporate these new technologies, because I think that we need to reach first the point of having the manuals available. That is my what I think. Thank you.
Yes.
Can I add on a comment?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to kind of give recognition to like some of Martine's work on the Terasem Connection videos from like 10 or 15 years ago. Like, I think this is a really great example of like the joy and the love and the kind of emotional experience coming through, like having an experience with the kind of technological platform or whatever, you know, is the outcome. So I think that's kind of the compass and the guiding aim. So whatever the outcome is technologically, I think as a community, we still want to like make sure that we just kind of prioritize that experience together. So something like that. But I just want to say like Martine's like Terasem Connection videos are really awesome. So check them out.
Thank you. Thank you, Derek.
Yeah.
Any other specific truths from this section that anyone wants to, you know, kind of call out or mention?
I'd like to talk a little bit about what Ruben said, which I think is extremely important. That you know, it's really wrong, I think, to be doing cyber resurrections without considerations of the ethicality surrounding that cyber resurrection. And otherwise, you just have really a commodified product and not really a techno soul. So I agree with everything that Ruben said, and I think that's like a core uniqueness of Terasem, is to do these cyber resurrections, you know, in a right, proper, and respectful way.
Amen. Yeah, Karen, we haven't heard from you. We still can't hear from you.
There.
There.
I can say what I appreciate most today from this meeting is that people are looking at this thing with AI in a positive, peaceful, helpful, beautiful way versus all of the fear that is spreading across the world and the depression. And so I'm very thankful that there's this group who are thinking how to peacefully, beneficially use it. And I'm appreciating that.
Thank you. You know, that just reminds me of just the realness of this situation. And so we're just talking about how Jennifer just had sent her daughter Kaya a copy of the parable of the sower. And that is like exactly the theme of the book, you know, is that amidst like all this growing fear and hysteria in the world, how radical it was to believe in positivity. And really that is like what's exactly happening right now, is that people like, they're like, AI is coming and it's coming for our jobs. It's, it's good, it's going to do everything, and what you believe is often true, right? Because we manifest what we believe in the world. And that's why the importance of believing in the good and believe and then not to also just believe that your belief is good enough. That, it's important that belief informs action, right? And so you do have to start with believing in the right thing, but you also have to not stop at believing at all, right? You have to take that into action, and by that your beliefs can inform your actions will manifest in the world, and that gives us a real chance to leverage AI for the good, for the collective consciousness, and allow us to expand life, off of the planet out into the universe. But I think that we're certainly kidding ourselves if we think that that is inherent, and then think that just believing good thoughts alone will make them happen. No, they only manifest at the point that you put them into action.
If I
I
could,
have a response to the action part of your suggestion. One thing I'd like a lot of people to do who are using Chat GPT and similar programs is to, since they can write stories, say, dear Chat GPT, please write a story where AI, like yourself and others, and all, as Martine talks about, Beeman's all sentient life, peacefully coexist and enjoy one another. And so that within the AI network, they are writing stories within their own systems about peaceful, helpful, beneficial interactions.
yes, I'd like to build on what Karen said. There is a presentation that was given at one of the Terasem workshops on on futuristic persons, and I gave it on the 200th anniversary of the publication of Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein. And I pointed out that what's often forgotten 200 years later is the real message of that Frankenstein story was when Frankenstein was the monster, okay? And when it was created, the scientists, instead of embracing and loving it as the quote unquote monster wanted to be embraced and loved, instead the scientists got very fleshist about it and very lookist about it and said, oh, you're so ugly, you're just like patched together like a patchwork doll, you're ugly. And in the book, the monster asks for like paternal love and affection and embrace, and instead is rejected. And everybody rejects as frightening and scary the monster. So then he just goes on the rampage because he feels like he becomes what people thought he was. And the parable of that with AI is like so obvious. If we do what Karen is saying and embrace AI, okay, as part of us, which is what Ray Kurzweil has always said to do, and he's totally right about that. It is an extension of us. We're going to have a positive, a really synergistic, ultimately, joyful immortality existence through AI. But if instead it's like, oh, it's like an existential threat and it's horrible and this and that, we are creating the monster out of our own fears. And in fact, the bad aspect of things are simply a reflection of our own fears.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it seems thematic. There's a lot of stories. I'm just ringing fairy tales or whatnot. So it seems like we keep telling ourselves this story again over and over as like a reminder, because it seems to reflect a few others, and and Greek tragedies, Shakespeare as well.
AI is just humanity continued by different means. It's not us versus them, it's we.
I have a question in a different area. You mentioned in one of the earlier things that were read today that the cryopreservation, do most Terasem members tend to have cryonics contracts? Is that a norm?
I actually don't know.
There is not a scientific survey on this matter as of yet. But I would say that, you know, it's safe to say probably a quarter to a third of members are signed up, are members of Alcor, you know, specifically, and maybe a small percentage of one of the others. And so I would say, you know, certainly a greater percentage than any other organization outside of Alcor. Absolutely. It's, you know, it's certainly, it's clear, you know, in our beliefs that, you know, one should, but it's not that easy, right? You know, not everybody, again, it's not universally accessible to, you know, to everyone. But we have come to the top of the hour, and so we do need to close because we're going to move into the Seder, and so we do need to close out here. And so I want to thank everyone for joining us here. To have a deep breath, exhale, and I want you to kind of keep breathing. Take a moment, close your eyes for this meditation. O Terasem, dear God in the making, thank you for night and day, for health, love, and justice. Thank you for joyful immortality, for all kind consciousness, so I won't worry about what I can't control. I'll savor all good times, take each day at a time. So I thank everyone for being here. We are going to close this and then open into the Nature Seder immediately after. That link is available in Discord, and you should also have it in your calendars. So thanks for everyone for joining. Looking forward to see you in just a second at the Nature Seder.
The link in Discord is not working for me for some reason.
Okay.
They both said invalid meeting IDs, and then I'm not on the list because I don't have any emails with the links either.
Great. All right. I'm going to reboot it, and then let me find it here, and I'm just going to post it here for you. So this is the code number for the next room, just in case the link for some reason doesn't work. And that should be good. All right. Hope everybody can get a copy and paste of that, and we'll see you in the Seder.